Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. And apparently, the Dallas Cowboys are trying to go to work right now. We have a second defensive lineman signing today. Not one of our own. This is actually, we've got Brett. Shut up, Brett. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Waterboy reference. Brett Urban, another Canadian defensive lineman. That's right. We've got the Canadian bulldozer, of course, Gallimore. And I probably mispronounced his name, but you know who I'm talking about. I am just the name butcher. Get over it, okay? I suck, okay? But I'm bringing you the news. So what do we know about Brett Urban? Brett Urban, he's tall. The Dallas Cowboys are going to the big and tall shop for as far as defensive linemen go. He's 6'7", 300 pounds, defensive end slash defensive tackle, possibly. He last played last year with the Chicago Bears, the Bears. So you could kind of say, did we trade Andy Dalton for Brett? Okay, could be. But here's what he had last year. He had 2.5 sacks, 36 tackles. Now, before you guys go ahead and say, well, that's not a whole lot. Well, understand, he was originally drafted by Baltimore. So he played in Baltimore. Didn't get a lot of playing time because Baltimore has an elite defense, but did get a lot of playing time the last couple of seasons with the Bears. And so let's go down and look at the numbers here. As you can see, he was with the Baltimore until 2018. In which case he had the bulk of his work since then. He went to Tampa Bay for part of 2019. He was also in Tennessee. So he's been around. I'm sorry, not Tampa Bay, Tennessee and Chicago. So he's been around. But with the Bears last year, he did get 36 combined tackles, 2.5 sacks. Not earth-shattering, not crazy, but see, you need big guys and you need a rotation. The Cowboys, this is kind of one of those Dallas Cowboys signings that we usually see, you know, where it's a Kerry Hayter, Christian Covington. They don't go in the deep end and say, let's go for a Ndamukong Suh. They go for guys that are kind of on the bottom layer. Now, I can say one of actually my favorite players, who most of you will be like, who? But E2 Blues frat brother, George Selvey. George Selvey was one of these type of guys. George Selvey had played in Tampa, Jacksonville, Atlanta, and one other team, basically 4 teams in 4 years, and had like 1.5 sacks. When the Cowboys signed him, it was kind of like, ugh. But George Selvey, under Rod Marinelli, ended up having an incredible season. I think he had 7.5 sacks. He ended up getting paid by the Giants, didn't do much else after that. And so this may be one of those signings that you look back and say, okay, he just needs an opportunity. And you have to also understand that the Bears have a really good defense, and there wouldn't be a lot of opportunity per se to get a lot of times. One thing I can say, he did have 391 snaps last year, and of those, 193 of them were run stopping. And his grade at run stopping was actually an 83.7. So this may be a guy that can help us with the run more so than with the pass rushing. And so though that's one of those things that we all look for, you know, how many sacks. You know, we kill D-Law because they say, you know, his sack numbers are down. Yeah, but his quarterback hits are there. His run stopping ability is there as well. He's a 5-tool type guy, or a Swiss Army knife. So he's doing good at the run and the pass. Some guys like Robert Quinn, when he was in Dallas, was really just good at the pass rushing and was not good at run stopping. When he got to Chicago, well, he was good at getting the money. So things we know about my man, who is a Canadian. He went to the University of Virginia, like his last name, Urban. He is definitely a country music star. At 6'7", a lot of people thought he was going to be a basketball player, but he decided to choose football. Beyond that, let's see. I'm going through 5 things you didn't know about Brett Urban. Let me go through and get the 5 things. This is actually from the Bears websites. If I can get my mouse. Here, mouse. Okay, broke-ass medias. Mouse is not, there we go. Hold it. Okay, 5 things you didn't know about him. Um, we know about. Okay, so his favorite sport, of course, is hockey. Figures he's Canadian. He shows football instead of basketball, although he did play basketball as well. Um, his musical taste matched his college choice. Again, went to University of Virginia, and of course, he likes Southern music. And Chicago reminds him of home. Okay, all right. So at least the Cowboys are beginning to try and make some addresses on the defense. Okay, so this is, of course, the second signing that we have today. We're trying to get a rotation. I'm assuming that with the moves that we've made so far that we're going to end up letting Aldon Smith go. We haven't heard about Aldon Smith going anyplace as far as visits or interests and things like that, but we haven't also heard the Dallas Cowboys do anything on that. Although I will say that maybe the Cowboys are just trying to play it cool and wait and see what he gets. Or maybe they've gone to him and said, hey, see what you can get out there and we'll beat it. You know, bring me your best deal and we'll see what we can do about it and try and hold on to him. Because I'd really like to see Aldon Smith with a full off season of work, the opportunity to come in and play with the Cowboys, to come back, you know, because basically you really didn't have much of an off season last year. The hope, of course, is that the Dallas Cowboys, which should have a high-flying offense, can get some defense that can get some takeaways and that can get some stops and stop teams from being able to control the clock by running the football. But I will say we're going to have our hands full this year because all of a sudden the Giants offense, you got to look at them getting Galladay as well as Kyle Rudolph, you know, and probably getting Barkley back will definitely help. Danny Jones with their offense. They'll be definitely improved, although that's all they can do is improve since they were just slightly above the Jets. And Washington with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's a gunslinger. And he's been around long enough that he doesn't give a rat's ass about what you think. He will throw the ball down the field, and we're going to be challenged. And we need some guys that can get after the quarterback as well as stop the run. So that being said, I think we're all up to date with everything that's going on so far. And hopefully we'll hear about a nice cornerback signing, not just the Cowboys constantly look for guys that don't cost a whole lot. And sometimes I think that's a mistake. I think I would just like to see the Cowboys get just one really good. I got no problem with getting some guys because you need bodies. But I need them to get me one playmaker. And I don't want to hear this stuff about we don't have money to, because with that new television contract that's just signed, that it's 80% more money than the last one. 80% raise. The salary cap is going to balloon, and that's why you see so many teams kicking the money down the road. So go get some players right now. You know, this is an arms race, and you need some players to win you some games. I'm Mark Holmes, and, well, I got to get back to the workshop. I got more stuff to do. I got more cutting boards and racks we got to do. So, as always, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you soon.